I know what you're thinking. A guy that big probably shouldn't be eating cereal. Well, it is what it is. And if you guys wondering what was in the bowl, well, it was Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That's not about the cereal. It's about this Predator figure. So, the critics, they wouldn't know a good nerd movie if it slapped them in the face. So when they dog out a movie like Predator, it means nothing to me, because I know that they're not a nerd. I know they don't buy the toys, and I could really care less what they think about the movie. But when I'm scrolling through the gram, and I see my fellow nerds that collect these toys, well, hopefully they collect these toys, dogging out a Predator movie, it causes concern. So I'm like, these guys know Predator. They know if it's a good Predator movie or not. Or at least I think they would know. I've seen all the Predator movies. I have all the Predator toys. You'll see those at the end of the video, like always. And when they're dogging it out, I'm like, man, I gotta see this movie for myself. I go see it. Nobody wants to see it with me because they've all heard the reviews and they think that the movie's gonna suck. And I don't really see how a Predator movie could suck because it's got Predator in it. So, I go see it. This Predator's in it. He fights a bunch of people, tons of blood, gore, battle scenes. Then there's a big giant Predator. Messes this dude up. Has dogs. The dogs are super cool. I hope we get an action figure of the dogs. And then the giant Predator messes up a bunch of people. And I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm going, man, you know what? This Predator movie is actually pretty good. Is it the best Predator movie? No. It was probably the worst Predator movie ever made. But it still has Predator, and it has a giant Predator, and it has dogs. Therefore, that makes this a good Predator movie. Let's talk about it. So, if you guys are wondering about seeing the movie, absolutely see the movie. And the action figure, well, after we review it, that'll be up to you. And another thing, if you guys out there wondering who won that battle, well, let me break it down to you. MGK won. If you guys are sitting there going, man, dude, you're whack, bro. Ain't no way. M slayed him. Well, guess what? I had no clue who MGK was before all that started. And if it didn't start, I wouldn't even know. But because it started, everybody in the world knows who MGK is. And therefore, MGK won. Let's talk about it. Alright, so here's this Fugitive Predator out of the package, and this thing, man, NECA, I love those guys, man. They know how to make cool action figures. I mean, for one, it's Predator. It's a Predator that you don't already have. We'll do some comparisons to see if this is a new body or not. I have no clue, but I will have a clue when I pull out a couple figures for a comparison. First off, in the movie, it seemed like he was unmasked more than he was masked because the little special kid had the mask. So I'm going to go ahead and display him unmasked. And I don't think that's something that they do very often. Whenever they give you, they'll make it for the mask and come on and off instead of giving you two different heads. When they do this, and plus they give you two different arm options, like you can display it because he doesn't have his gauntlets for part of the movie. So you can display him with the arms and no gauntlet, or you can display him with the arm with the gauntlet, which is pretty cool. It'd be even cooler if they had that little spaceship deal that came off, but it doesn't. And then these things, if you're wondering where they go, they clip in these little holes right here. I got him clipped in on that one. You'll see that. And on this mast head, really cool. Man, I had a hard time deciding, you know, which head to use, the mast or unmast. And I was hoping that this mask would come off. Well, it's not supposed to, but if you pull it hard enough, it will eventually come off. And that's what you get underneath. It would be really cool if they would have did like this, like with the real face on it, with the closed mouth, and then you could pop this thing over. That would have been really cool. These are like the eyes. I thought there was lenses in there, but apparently there's not. And then you could have like him hold the mask or the mask off to the side. That wasn't really an option, so you got to kind of put that back on there. I guess you could still display the mask in his hand. That would also be pretty cool. I might try to do that actually, now that I'm thinking about it. As far as this Predator goes, these things are real stiff out of the package. It's like there's paint in the joints, which thank God for that because it looks good. The articulation on this is just, the head is basically on a ball. There is an ab crunch there. Looks like there's like a double crunch. It moves up at the top here, also moves at the waist. I love this soft rubber, really pliable, really nice. The shoulders, I mean, you got to work this thing in. Take your time with this. If you force these joints, they're definitely going to break on you. It does have a double elbow. The forearms pop off. You can put on the other ones. As far as the leg articulation goes, there's a ball there, really clean. Double knee like that too. They actually got a pin in there, man. I thought NECA was better than that. Come on, NECA, you guys do pins? I expect so much more from you. This thing costs $30. It also comes in a box. I think that's how they try to justify that $30 expense. He doesn't really come with a whole lot of accessories, extra hands, extra head for 30 bucks. That's a lot of money. That's just a lot of money. Not to think that's a lot of money for an action figure that you're going to throw up on a shelf with 50 other action figures that look exactly like it. Speaking of that, let's go get some of those and pull them down for a comparison. Looks like he either has a little battle damage on his chest or I got a really screwed up action figure. I'm kind of hoping for the battle damage. Here he is, tons of detail. Man, they do a good job. Line work in the hair. Everything's about him is cool. Let's do some comparisons to see, help me figure out if this is a new body mold or not. I know 8 inches is pretty tall. I don't know if the rest of them are that tall. Let's check it out. So I pulled out a few Predators for a Predator comparison because I was kind of thinking that it was probably the same body as these ones. I held them up there. I'm going to go out and say that he's all new. I'm thinking that this figure is all new. If I'm wrong, there's nothing that you guys enjoy more is to correct me in the comments in front of everybody. So if I am wrong, feel free and let me know. If it is a Predator that we already have, which I'm pretty sure I have almost every Predator, I just couldn't recognize them. This is like the smaller Predator. That's just one of my favorite Predators with that tusk. That thing was pretty cool. If you're wondering who this dude is, basically, he's like the sellout rat Predator. And for you guys that didn't like the movie, I can understand. I can see why you didn't like the movie. Because basically, I'm going to spoil the movie for you. So if you haven't seen it, or if you're going to see it, turn the video off. And I'm going to break it down real quick. This guy is basically like the snitch Predator. He's coming to Earth to warn Earth about the big giant Predator that's gonna take over Earth, which makes no sense that he's coming to tell Earth, because when he comes to Earth, he kills a bunch of humans to save Earth, but he kills the humans. Okay, I can see why you guys didn't like it, but it was still a good movie for me, except for the last 5 minutes in the movie. And if you like the movie, get up and leave 5 minutes early for you don't see the ending, because the ending is so painfully bad. It's almost embarrassing to be a Predator fan when you see the ending. Basically, this guy leaves a gauntlet that's called the Predator Killer, for they can put on the gauntlet. The guy basically turns into an Iron Man Predator to kill all the big predators when they come to Earth. Hopefully that movie will never get made and they kind of go back to, like, I don't know, my favorite Predator movie was the one where they had the other dogs with the tusk in there. God, I Love that Predator movie. I should probably just watch that one again. There's a Predator. There's a Predator. There's a Predator. I'm going to show you the collection, and we're going to talk about it. Alright, so as promised, here's my Predator collection. I used to get every single Predator, and then some of them just look kind of stupid, like, I don't know, that red one. And so I try not to buy stupid looking ones like that, but for some reason I got him. He must have been like a big bad where you had to buy the whole set. So I try to avoid ones that just look really ridiculous. I just try to kind of get ones that look like they were almost in the movie. Some of the Kinder ones were pretty cool. I'm not really into the, I don't know, the praying mantis, predator, and maybe those are aliens. Either way, I try to keep my Predators almost similar, related to what they kind of look like in the movie. And then if some of them just kind of look like stand out cool, then, well, it's hard to pass on a good Predator figure. You guys probably know that just as good as I do. There's a collection. Really loving NECA. Really loving that new Predator. God, just look at the shelf. Like, can you imagine when you get that tall Predator and you set him up there and he's going to be like way taller than all these other Predators? Hopefully that thing's going to be like 11 or 12 inches tall. Oh, that would be amazing. I definitely look forward to that. There's the original dog. That thing's definitely pretty cool. I should probably go ahead and buy at least one more of those. I think I'm going to get on eBay right after this video. And if those things aren't crazy expensive, then I'm going to go ahead and get him a friend. NECA, if you're watching this video, which I'm sure you're probably not, make those dogs. Please make those dogs. And maybe even make that little kid as an accessory. That would be kind of cool. There's the Predators. Let's talk about it.